Our correspondent Sophie Long is in Lesbos and she joins us now. Sophie.
Thanks very much, Martine. Yes, the Vatican had always said that this would be a humanitarian and symbolic visit, and it ended with a humanitarian and symbolic gesture. He is now on his way back to Rome, and with him on his plane are 12 Syrian refugees. But on Lesbos this evening, there remain more than 4,000 other migrants, and for them, very little has changed, of course. I'm joined on the quayside here at Mytilene Port by Sasha Myers from Save the Children. Thanks very much for being with us. We heard rumblings of this morning. We now have it confirmed that the Pope has taken back 12 refugees to Rome with him. What are your thoughts on that?
Save the Children has heard reports that the Pope has taken 12 refugees with him back to the Vatican. We're unsure at the moment what will happen when they reach the Vatican. It seems to be symbolising and setting an example for the rest of Europe, saying, you know, he's welcoming in refugees who need assistance and a safe place to stay. It's important to remember, though, that there are thousands of other child refugees inside Greece at the moment who also need assistance and support.
And how strong do you think that message that he sent here is today? We always knew, of course, that he was going to come, he was going to meet migrants, but to take 12 refugees back with him on his plane in this unprecedented fashion, I mean, it certainly grabs headlines, doesn't it?
We think the Pope's visit has come at a very pivotal moment for Europe and the refugee crisis. Since the borders have been closed and the new EU-Turkey deal has come into effect, we have more than 53,000 refugees and migrants stranded in Greece. So it's a very significant time for him to be coming here, hearing people's stories, children's stories, and saying this isn't right. The way that people are being treated here isn't right, and they're human beings and we need to support them and help them.
Just tell us a little bit about his visit to Moria detention centre this morning, because you were there, and I think the first people he met were some 150 unaccompanied children who are being held in detention all by themselves.
Yes, the Pope was in Moria detention centre this morning, and he did meet 150 unaccompanied children. So those are children who are in Greece at the moment with no parents, no guardian, no one to take care of them. They are the most vulnerable children in Greece at the moment, and we have serious concerns about their well-being because the shelter facilities for unaccompanied children inside Greece at the moment are all full, and we're still seeing unaccompanied children arrive on the Greek islands, and they're being housed in very, very terrible conditions in unclean rooms where there aren't enough beds. We're very concerned about the conditions for these children.
And what are you being told? Because the thing that I get time and again when I go up to Moria detention centre is people just simply don't know. They're terrified about what's going to happen to them. Some of them have been there for weeks. They've been given a number, but they have no information about what will happen next. Are you being given any guidance in your role as to when people will find out what the future holds for them?
Many of the people I've spoken to inside Moria Detention Centre do not have a lot of information about what the new EU and Turkey deal will mean for them, how long they'll be locked in detention for, when they will get their claim, their claim for asylum processed, and what will it mean for them if their claim is rejected. So there is definitely a lack of information, and this is creating a general sense of fear for people. You know, children and their families have given up everything to be here. Many have sold their homes and all of their worldly possessions and risked their lives across the ocean to come to Greece in order to seek safety. And, you know, to be told they might to Turkey now is absolutely devastating for some people. And people have told us they will take their lives, they will jump off the boat if they are returned to Turkey. So the situation in detention centres is absolutely full at the moment, and people are losing hope.
And since the EU reached an agreement with Turkey that some would be returned, there's been a lot of questions being asked about whether that deal and whether it's having the desired effect of deterring people making that crossing. I know you can only sort of comment in your capacity from Save the Children, but do you get a sense that it's working in any way?
The numbers of arrivals in Greece has dropped. However, what's important to remember is this EU-Turkey deal and building fences and closing borders, they're just deterrents. People in this situation, children and their families, are fleeing death and they're fleeing violence. And this is just a deterrent measure. It's not going to stop them from trying to seek safety for their children. You know, the women And the men that I've been talking to, they just want somewhere safe for their children to grow up, to have a normal life, to go to school, to get married, and it won't stop them. So we're just going to see the problem surface elsewhere, and people will take riskier journeys to get to safety. We're already seeing an increase in arrivals in Italy this week.
Okay, Sasha Myers from Save the Children, thank you very much indeed. Well, the Pope is now on his way back to Rome. He takes with him 12 Syrian refugees. But for the vast majority of migrants here, there is very little change. He said that he came here to see their faces, to listen to their stories, and his message to them was don't lose hope. Back to you, Martine.
Sophie, thank you very much. Sophie Long in Lesbos.